Hey everyone, it's Paul Ward here, and welcome to another 15 minutes. I'm very excited today. We've got a special guest, Jann Huling with Project Understanding. Jann, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul.
Absolutely. And your official title is you're the Chief Operating Officer. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. And how long have you been with Project Understanding, and what do they do?
Well, I was with Project Understanding as a board member. I had 6 years, my terms. You have two 3-year terms if you're elected to come back. My last term was president, and we went through a lot of changes, a lot of changes. What we do is we feed anyone that's hungry. We don't actually serve food at our area, but we supply food to subsidize your food for 1 week. So you can come through our pantry line once a week and get food. We also have homeless to home and homeless prevention. We find it better for our community if we can keep people in their homes opposed to getting them off the streets or when they're already out there. It's a little bit different. And then we also have tutoring sites because education is the #1 importance.
And the face of homelessness has changed. Is that correct? It's not your typical, you know, I don't want to say bum or hobo, but
Yeah.
the face of homelessness has changed.
Yes, it is. It's changed a lot. It's families,
Hmm.
uh, mothers with children, fathers with children. And a lot of the problem is that there's not very many shelters that families can go into.
Hmm.
So instead of separating their family, they're all going to be together in the car, wherever they have to be, because they don't want to. They
Mm,
don't want to separate themselves from their family. You know,
right.
there is a certain areas that will allow you to have a parent and a child, but the child has to be under 13. So there's a lot of iffy things there. So the
Right.
family would prefer to be homeless on the streets.
Wow. And so with Project Understanding, you're providing food, you're providing education.
Mhm.
Um, you're a nonprofit, right? Kind of a
Yes, we're a
go-between.
501(c) since 1977. We actually started in a garage on the avenue making sack lunches for people that were hungry, the homeless that were hungry.
In Ventura.
In Ventura, yes, I'm sorry.
So one person just said, "Hey, there's a problem here. I'm gonna make
Lunches.
PB&Js
Yeah.
and feed homeless people," and the word got out, and they
We
would show up at the
grew.
garage and get a
Yep.
get a lunch.
Yep. We grew and grew and grew and grew.
Wow. And how many people are you serving now?
Well, it's crazy. Uh, Under 5 years ago, we were serving about 250, 300 people a month in our pantry.
Wow.
Last month, we served a little over 5,000.
Well, that's incredible. That's a
Yes,
big jump from going from a garage just serving a few people to
yes, yes.
5,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. We serve Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from nine to 12, and we are packed from 9 to 12.
Wow. And it also shows you just how acute the problem is and how much it's grown.
Right, it has. And people always, always, always judge a person by their vehicle or whatever.
Hmm.
But you have to understand that maybe that's all they have.
Right.
They may have a beautiful car, but that is all they have. They don't have rent to
Right.
live anywhere. And with
Hmm.
the rental prices here in Ventura County, it's difficult not to have 400 people in your home to afford the rent.
Right. Right. So
And you know,
they're packing them in to make that
ex-
payment.
exactly, exactly.
And I mean, you've been involved in this cause for many years. What are the primary reasons why people become homeless?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, domestic violence.
Mm,
We just had a woman come out here from Iowa with her 3 kids to escape domestic violence. And she lived in her car and then she lived in a shelter
hmm.
and she just got her first apartment. It could be drugs.
Hmm.
It could be alcohol. It could be any of those. And that's common. But a lot of times it's and mental illness.
Hmm.
You're not mentally ill your first night on the street. A
Right.
lot of them aren't. Some of them might be, but it's an acquired mental illness. So it's a right to survivorship. So you
Hmm.
develop this mental illness to protect yourself and those around. loss of a job,
Hmm.
loss of financing, proper, banking.
Hmm. You
There's a
mentioned
lot.
you mentioned before a doctor who you even found to end up on the street.
Yeah, his story is quite touching. This is an amazing man. He was a doctor, and he said, I was the best doctor ever, Jan. I was so good and so in love with his wife. And they had homes and they had rental property. She got ill and they didn't have the proper coverage to take care of her. So he started selling off his property in order to care for his wife who was dying. And he lost everything,
Wow,
everything after she passed away. And he was living on the streets. It's
that's incredible.
sad. I mean, it's just not the hobo, the
Right,
bum.
right.
It is people like you and me. Look at the Thomas Fire.
Hmm.
Anyone that doesn't live in their home for whatever reasons, a fire, a flood, or whatever, is considered homeless.
Hmm. And you did an interesting thing, or periodically in the past, you have actually yourself dressed up like a homeless person to see, and you're out in the street to see how they're treated. What made you want to do that, and what did you find
Well,
out?
because I work with the homeless every day.
Hmm.
I want to, I can't be an effective, personally, this is how I am. I can't be effective in my position unless I know what they have to deal with. So I have dressed up as homeless, waited outside big events in the bushes.
Hmm.
I was homeless downtown Ventura, and every single person walked by me except for these three boys skateboarding. And, everybody walked by and just kind of looked at me, didn't say anything. And then the one boy comes up to me and he goes, I have some cans. Would you like some cans? So I tried to tell him at that point that I really wasn't homeless and I appreciated that. But he thought I was just crazy.
Right.
So I took the cans and yeah. And then I've done it. I did outside the Ventura Chamber breakfast at Pierpont Inn one time in the bushes.
Hmm.
And my words for this is, I am not hopeless. I'm homeless.
Mm.
And that radiates with me. So seeing out there, seeing how people react to you,
Hmm.
whether they speak to you, whether they talk to you. I did it also in Camarillo in a park one time, just see how people would. And in order for me to effectively know what they're dealing with,
Right.
and it's just, I had to do it.
Right. There's probably a lot of, I don't want to say shame, but
Oh yeah, there is.
just kind of, eyes that kind of turn away, right? People kind of want to ignore the problem, ignore the homeless person, wish they weren't
Right.
there, you
Yeah.
know.
I had a woman from in Camarillo that knew me, and I wouldn't make eye contact with her. And plus, I mean, I literally am homeless. I mean, I look homeless. I've got my
Right.
shopping cart, I got everything.
Right.
So she kept saying, "Are you hungry?" And I'm like, I wouldn't speak because I didn't want her to know my name, recognize my voice. I'm like, "Mm-mm-mm."
Right.
She
Jan,
went,
is that you, Jan?
"Is that you?" So, but she went and got me food and brought it out to me. I was like, oh.
Hmm.
And then
But you were still incognito at that point.
oh, totally the whole time. But she felt it was important that I get some food. And
Right.
so she went and got food.
So it's probably one person out of a
One out of
hundred,
100.
1 out of 100 that's helpful.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
99% just kind of ignore.
Ignore, and it's not that they ignore because they're being rude. People don't know how to act,
Right.
and unfortunately, some homeless are agitated and aggressive.
Right.
And it's just it's sad. But we even have one homeless. Well, we have a lot of homeless, obviously here, but I always try to keep an eye on where they're at. In the event something's going on, I know who's there and what they need. And I was looking for one homeless one time, and he hadn't been in the pantry, so I asked another homeless person. I said, "Hey, do you know where Jesse's at?" And he said, "No." I said, I haven't been able to find him. I know he's down in the harbor area
Hmm.
sleeping." He goes, "Well, you know where I'm at. I moved too. I'm the fifth tree up."
The fifth tree up in the harbor area or wherever. Okay,
So
so
he
five
said
trees
that
up.
whenever I needed him for anything, that's where he was at. And that makes me feel good because they know I honestly care.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know, and everybody that works here cares.
You
I
know their
mean,
name. You know their names.
we know their names. And the key here is that a lot of people, when they see homeless,
Mm-hmm.
they don't look in their eyes, they look away.
Right.
So when I meet them, I look in their eyes and I tell them what my name is. So in the event that you're out shopping at Vaughn's
Mm-hmm.
and you're homeless and you see me, I want you to know my name. I want you to say, hey, Jan. Because I'm the type of person that runs up and hugs you and everybody looks at me all weird because I got somebody with a sleeping bag and I hug them, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Sometimes that's all they need for the day.
Now, did you develop this caring for the homeless at a young age? I mean, when did you develop this passion?
Well, you know, we when I was growing up, we really didn't. I didn't know much about homeless. Um, my grandfather owned. He owned a business in which is now Montecito. At the time, I don't think it was called Montecito. And he would always get. He would make food for the homeless, and they weren't homeless at that time. They were hobos.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the hobos whittled him a picture of Santa Barbara in a piece of wood and gave it to him and thanked him for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, I was a hobo for Halloween many times. That's about all my extent was. And then one Christmas, I remember some man outside of Ralph's saying, I'm homeless and I'm hungry. And he was dressed okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and got a Christmas dinner for him and brought it out to him. And it just kind of snowballed from that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my poor son, he gets drug into these things, you know, from a young age.
Right.
It's just, I'm very careful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you know, go up to every single person I see,
Sure.
but I have a good sense of who's going to hurt me and who's not. And,
Right.
you know, I brought breakfast burritos that down to the river bottom, brought breakfast burritos down there for them and just stuff to make them feel like they matter.
Sure. And how much has this problem grown? Do you know statistics for California and
Oh,
Southern California?
it has absolutely snowballed.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying right now, I mean, this is 2023, we had a little over 2,200 homeless in Ventura County.
Wow.
And I think it's much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
When
That's
you're out doing the homeless count, you're missing some people.
right.
You know, you're missing some people. Maybe, you know, they're in an abandoned building, or, you know, you're in the river bottom and you're trying to catch all of them, and some of them aren't there. So I think the statistics are much higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
And it has gotten worse through COVID. People lost their jobs.
Right.
You know, and here's the key here is that when you're in Ventura County and you get arrested, you go to
Mm-hmm.
Ventura County Jail.
Mm-hmm.
You're released from Ventura County Jail and you're in Ventura. It's a beautiful place to be if you're going to be homeless. You
Oh,
know,
so if you were arrested in a different city and you were
It's-
taken to Ventura,
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
you're released in Ventura, but you don't have any way to get back to where your
no,
belongings are.
no, you don't. And it's a perfect area. Same thing as if you are admitted into the hospital. You go to Ventura County Medical Center and you're released.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a tough world out there.
Mm-hmm. And the only solution is fixing the mental health crisis and providing.
That is the number one issue right now, fixing the mental health crisis, and people won't go into a home, you know, a winter's shelter or anything if they have dogs or kids.
Mm,
So they're out on the streets in these type of elements like we're having today, and it's difficult. It's difficult for them,
right.
and we need to fix the mental health, and we need to have some type of shelters where the entire families can go.
Mm-hmm. And
And
you might have a family that lives in somebody else's garage. I mean, that's not
yes, and they're
you've got
basically
a roof over
homeless.
your head, but you're still
Yeah,
homeless.
right. Exactly.
You
You
know,
don't have anything that's yours.
right.
It's tough.
How can folks help Project Understanding, Jan?
Well, you know, you always can come here and volunteer
Mm,
anytime. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 9 to 1 is when we actually hand out the food.
mm-hmm.
We have tutoring sites that need teachers. And those are the sort of things, right, that you can help in giving back. You can also give back by making donations
Sure.
on our website, www.projectunderstanding.org, and you can help us that way. Because we're like all nonprofits right now are struggling. We're not having the donations that are coming in due to COVID, due to whatever, or they're not coming in like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so those sort of things can help. We're also, what we're doing right now is we're putting together a golf tournament. It'll be May 6th, and 100% of those proceeds go to Project Understanding.
Nice.
We can continue to feed, we can continue to house, we can continue to educate. We will help the homeless or help anybody that's looking to maybe build up their resume more.
Mm-hmm.
We'll help them look for jobs.
Oh,
We'll
wow.
help them find housing. If you're on some type of list, we'll get you going on that. We'll help you with all of those things as well. So it's not just, here's your food, bye-bye, you're homeless, bye-bye. No, we're going to help you. We're going to hold your hand through the whole thing if you want it.
So you must have some good success stories too about folks that you've helped that were homeless that, you helped them find a job and
We
now they're
have
no
some,
longer homeless.
yeah, exactly. We had one guy that came in here and him and his wife were both not working. They were homeless. And the key with that is that when you go fill out an application to get a job,
Mm-hmm.
you're homeless. What's your address?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't have the Obama phones. So what we will do is we'll have you put our address as the address for the job. So both the couple were able to get a job at Taco Bell, which is
Okay.
pretty cool. Yeah. And it was a foot in the door, and they
Mm-hmm.
got it in the door. We got them some clean clothes, got them going on their interviews, we got them haircuts,
Mm-hmm.
just to make everything perfect for them. And so they were able to get a job there. And it was just what they needed to get off of the streets.
Nice. And it gives them the job gives somebody dignity as well.
Oh, absolutely. It certainly does. And they were pretty darn proud of it. Pretty darn.
Wonderful.
We've also reunited families with their children. A lot of times the children have been taken away. So we've been a part of reuniting the parents with the children. We've also reunited a lot of family members with the homeless. So we've got them on
That must be
buses.
pretty special when they
Mhm.
get to see their child for the first time in many months or years or
Right, right. It's the best. It
Mhm.
truly is the best. We'll work with anybody. We don't care what your background is. The only thing we don't want is we don't accept child abuse or
Sure.
someone that possibly has murdered somebody.
That makes perfect sense.
But a lot of times they have to work off hours for community service. So we'll help them work off those hours in the pantry or in the tutoring sites. So we do a lot more than feed and house. It's a whole, it snowballs.
Hmm.
It would be nice if it was just one thing.
Right. Right. Well, you got a lot of different pieces going on.
Yeah, different avenues as well. Yeah, perfect.
Well, Jan, thank you so much for being our guest and
Thank you,
spreading the word.
Paul.
And of course, we'll share this and throw it out there in the universe and you know, see what folks say. But thank you so much for your expertise and all that you
Thank you,
do.
Paul. All righty. Thank you so much.
All right,
Bye-bye.
we'll talk later. Okay, bye-bye.